this is my Raspberry Pi web server setup. This is my router from Jio, from which I get the internet. And this is connected to my Raspberry Pi here. This is the Raspberry Pi and a case for it. This case has a cooling fan. Raspberry Pi is then connected to 2 TB hard disks. Raspberry Pi is powered through my UFO charger here. So in case I need any UFO charging, I can charge from here, add additional modules. Hello everybody, this is Jayesh here, and today we are gonna see how to make a Raspberry Pi web server in your own house. So just a small Raspberry Pi and you make it a web server in your own home. Now, a quick disclaimer. This is a technology hardcore video. It's a full tech how to do video tutorial kind of thing. So if you're here for the vlog, please visit my channel later next time. And if you are a technology enthusiast, let's go and dig deep and make a web server. So going forward, you need to connect the Raspberry Pi to your router, so either wirelessly or with wire, and then we need to connect to it through our LAN. So we'll open the terminal. If you're in a Windows machine, you can use PuTTY, PuTTY, that software, to connect to terminal. Else, if you're in Linux, you can directly use our terminal. So we'll SSH, we'll use the username pi @ the IP. In my case, the local IP. In my case, the local IP is this, and in your case, the local IP may be different, so you can check it from its routers page, or you can directly go to the HDMI, use HDMI and stuff, keyboard, mouse, Okay, so you need to put in the password. Once you put in the password, you are connected to Raspberry Pi. Since my Pi is already logged in, once you're connected to Raspberry Pi, you need to update it. So you need to run the command sudo apt-get update. So it will update your Raspbian OS. You also need to upgrade the OS in case there are major releases. Currently what we need to do is we need to install a Windows system, that is RDP system or Xrdp system, so that we can connect from our Windows machine to our Raspbian OS on the Raspberry Pi. So in order to do that, you first need to update your system. So I've already updated, and you need to then run sudo apt-get upgrade, and then again you can run sudo apt-get update once more also in order to update it. Since I've already upgraded the system for the sake of saving time for this video, so I'll not run this. So after you run sudo apt-get update and upgrade, what you need to do is you need to install Xrdp. So you need to write sudo apt install Xrdp. So this is remote desktop protocol X Windows system, so you can directly connect to your Raspberry Pi. So in my case, I've already installed this also, Xrdp. So once you install it, what you can see is, I'll just close this, minimize my virtual machine of Ubuntu. You need not install a virtual machine, but you can use PuTTY. I'm writing that for your reference. This software, you can install it and you can use it to write the terminal commands that I'm using. Once you install Xrdp, you can use your remote desktop connection of Windows that comes bundled in Windows. You need to type the IP address. In my case, this is the local IP address, so you need to put in your local IP address and then click on connect. You will be connected to your Raspberry Pi if your Xrdp is installed correctly. So username is Pi. If you have kept all the default stuff, you can change your username else. Once you put in your ID and password, you can log into your Raspberry Pi, which is great. In cases sometimes you may like to connect your Raspberry Pi directly with HDMI and which HDMI to the monitor. Keyboard, mouse and monitor is required for the first time, maybe for enabling SSH also by default. It's enabled right now. So this is how I'm connected to it. I can just minimize it and I can come back to Windows. So what I have done is I've already used my Raspberry Pi as a NAS device. I've already configured it so that I can check my network area also. So in this network share or network browsing, I can also see that there is a Raspberry Pi here. So when I click on it, I have Pi and Pi Media. Pi is for the default files of Raspberry Pi, and Pi Media is whatever media I have injected in. So currently, this is the WD hard disk that I have connected to my Raspberry Pi, and I have my backup, my videos here. So you can see all of my videos and backup that I have kept here. So pics, so stuff. So I can directly copy paste here because I have enabled NTFS write in Raspberry Pi, and you can always check how to do that using my tutorial. If you guys have not seen it, you can see this is my YouTube page. If you go onto this videos tab, you can see there's tutorials saying NAS device storage via Raspberry Pi 3, and you can watch it, how to make a NAS device using Raspberry Pi. That's a long tutorial, but that's an extra thing that you can do. It's not needed right now in order to make your Raspberry Pi as a web server. That's just an upgrade if you have. Once you update, I'm also writing the code in case you are inquisitive as to how to enable NTFS read write. So you need to install NTFS 3G in your system in Raspberry Pi in order for Raspberry Pi to be able to write into the NTFS drives. Okay, so now we are connected. Now we need to install web server in a Raspberry Pi. So the best and easy way is to install LAMP, which I will not do, but the best and easy way is to install LAMP, that is Linux, Apache, MySQL and PHP. Short. Linux is already installed. This is the Debian version in Raspberry Pi. Apache you can install as a web server. Then M for MySQL. MySQL as a database works fine. You can use that. And PHP lastly as a server scripting language, you can use that. And there are a hell lot of tutorials over the internet to install how to install LAMP. But I'll not do that because I'm not just showing you how to make a web server using Raspberry Pi, but I'm showing you how to make the fastest web server using Raspberry Pi possible. How I'm gonna set up my web server here in Raspberry Pi is I'm gonna install Nginx first, and then I wanna install a web server in the backend, that is Gunicon. So I'll be using Nginx and Gunicon is a WSGI web server wherein we can use Python here, or we can use Django with it. Basically I'm developing apps in Django right now, so I'll use Gunicon. As you can use Nginx plus Apache as well. But the thing why we're using Nginx is because it's very fast in handling concurrent connections and serving static files. It can handle up to 10,000 concurrent connections very easily. It's built like that. It doesn't use extra user threads. Nginx will be in the front of your web server, serving all the requests coming to your website, and after that, whatever scripting that needs in your application will be forwarded from Nginx to Gunicon or to Apache, whatever you want to install. So we will use Nginx as a reverse proxy here, and Gunicon is good as well. That's short for Green Unicorn. And then we'll have let me just show you some maybe visuals also. This is what I'm talking about. We'll be installing Nginx in the front end so that our website is fast enough, because we are low in resources. As now you can see we are using Raspberry Pi, and then we'll use Gunicon server. So these are some of my search results. We'll use this. Green Unicorn is a Python WSGI HTTP server, web server by Unix. We'll use the combination of this, and then we will use a database for backend for storing stuff. For that, we'll use PostgreSQL. You can use MySQL also. PostgreSQL is what we'll install right now. These are the things. Gunicon is my web server. PostgreSQL is my backend. Nginx is the front end, which serves my static content. Okay, so after that we'll use maybe dynu.com or some other dynamic contents, which we will use to route our domain name to this Raspberry Pi, because I do not have static IP. If you have static IP, you can directly use the static IP and bind it with your domain name, but we do not have a domain name for now. We have a domain name, but we do not have a static IP for now. So we'll use free dynamic DNS to, kind of assign a fake static IP to our web server. This is all we need to know. So let's just start with the hardcore stuff now. Let's move on. Okay, since the domain name propagation takes some time, let's start with the reverse. Let us first start with dydnu. You need to sign in this website dynu.com for dynamic DNS. You can use other websites also for getting dynamic DNS. I will currently use this. You can see in this page, or any page, let's say this one, Dynamic DNS. I'll leave all the links in description below. So what is Dynamic DNS? You know, whatever names you have purchased, you can use that top level domain name, or you can use a domain name from Dynamic DNS, that is from DYNO. I have already got a domain name but from a different website. I have my own company also. You can get the domain names registered from virtual.net as well. Just make sure that you use the following name servers, any of the name servers from below. Check whichever is nearest and try to use those name servers. For me, currently I'm using this one. I think I'll enter this and this one in my domain control panel wherever I have got the website from. So whether you have got it from virtual.net or GoDaddy or wherever, you can update the name servers to any of these given name servers here on the screen or on the website up there, that matter. Now once you do that, once you update that, just sign in here. I have already signed in, so you click on this cogwheel. You will select the manage dynamic DNS services here. On clicking this, will have an option of adding here, so we'll click on add and we'll choose one of the options. First one is use their domain name. They have plenty of domain names here, so you can get a free one from them, or you can get own domain name. What I'll do, I'll use my own domain name. My domain name is projectme24.com. so this is the website that I'm working upon, website and app, wherein every user will have their own website or web link which they can publish anywhere, and other people should project their profile or anyone else profile if they like that profile. So you can have many projections. The projections will be displayed on your website. So I'll add projectme24.com. okay, so once you add your domain name, it will come here. You can have a list of different domain names for yourself, which is good. For now, I think is done here, and of course you have the name servers in your panel wherever you have purchased your domain name. So that being said and done, now we have to make sure that our Raspberry Pi is talking with this dynamic DNS updates. So in DD client, we need to install, we can use these commands. Like, let us do that. Let us open our Raspberry Pi, open our terminal, and we'll install sudo apt-get DD client. Right, okay, I'm sorry, I think I have written something wrong. Sudo apt-get install DD client. Yeah. Oh, sorry, that's the word install. Sudo apt-get install DD client. Whatever now we are doing, we are trying to route our domain name to this Raspberry Pi. I'll configure DYDNS again. This is my username. Okay, I have to enter the password again. This time I'll choose manually. I'll put fully qualified domain name here. That is projectme24.com. Projectme24.com. Okay, that's my website. You should enable this option if DD client should be run every time a PPP connection is established. Yeah, why not? Okay, we are over with domain name routing. So now our domain name points to our own Raspberry Pi web server. Now we need to go ahead. We'll try to set up Nginx and Unicorn, and we'll try Python and PostgreSQL. All of those stuff that we need to try for now.